here with reaction. The host of Keeping It Real, that's the only way she rolls, Jillian Michaels. Great to have you back. How are you?
I'm great, Sean. How are you?
I am good. All right, so you have actually opened my eyes. Dr. Oz has opened my eyes. I've had conversations with RFK Jr. Okay. It is strange that if I was a male in Japan, I'd live 10 years longer on average, something like that. And that it is strange that Europe will not import American food because of chemicals and hormones. That's a little scary to me. Why is that?
Well, it's not strange at all. It's just raw economic incentives. And the way it happens here, unfortunately, is that there's a loophole in the FDA that allows over 9,000 chemicals into our food supply that are illegal and banned in every other part of the developing world. And this is the exact kind of corruption that RFK is focused on rooting out.
Yeah. All right. So, having had long discussions with you, I know you are against these weight loss drugs. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Obesity, contributes to heart disease and stroke, diabetes, all these other diseases. So I know people that have taken them, and I know people that have lost as much as 100 pounds on them. Now, I did watch you on The Biggest Loser, and you were tough as nails. I would never want that treatment, but you did it out. It was tough love, and you were great at it, and you inspired people to get fit, right? All right, so I like your approach, but for other people, why not give them the option? Not saying taxpayer funded, but why are you so against them?
Okay, well, first of all, this shouldn't be black or white. In other words, there's a continuum of illness, and we go from overweight to morbidly obese, and there are 170 comorbidities associated with being overweight and obese. So if a person is very far down the road on that continuum, if they have chronic kidney disease, if they have heart disease, if they have advanced type 2 diabetes, if they've tried everything, if they're morbidly obese, then obviously, in the cost-benefit analysis, they would be the appropriate candidate for these drugs, and they could be considered a first line of defense. However, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about utilizing this drug as a first line of defense for human beings as young as 6 years old. We're talking about a vast swath of the population, up to 28 million people that they would like to prescribe these drugs to that are simply not candidates. First off, number one, they're expensive, and now the taxpayer is going to be covering it. Number two, you plateau on them. Number three, they have really serious side effects. And number four, you don't get off of all your medications. You stay on all of your medications. And in every study done by the actual drug company, Novo Nordisk, all of the people on the drugs in the study are also on a handful of other drugs associated with diabetes, heart disease, chronic kidney disease, and so on. Now then, if we're using our common sense and we look at how we got here, wouldn't it be smarter, wouldn't it be more advantageous for the tax-paying American to take those dollars and give each and every one of those people 3 organic meals a day and a gym membership, counseling, fitness training, which with that kind of money, you can actually afford? So who is this really benefiting, Americans or the drug companies?
See, all right, so I know a little bit about your life story, and one day we're going to have a long discussion about it. But when you were young, maybe I think 12 years old or around that age, you're about 5 feet tall and you weighed about 170 pounds. And you've been very open about it. I'm not disclosing something that people don't know. And that is an incredible story to me. But a lot of people, like I work out every day. I don't really feel like doing it every day, but I do it anyway. I have to monitor what I eat. I basically am a keto-friendly protein person, and I don't eat sweets. I don't touch them, because if I do, I gain a lot of weight. So I stay away from it. A lot of people don't have that discipline. How did you do it?
Well, I had help. I had a karate teacher who taught me about food, who taught me about fitness, who provided me with support. But here's the one thing I want to say about the discipline line, is the reason people don't have the discipline is because of our environment. Our environment is engineered to addict people to these ultra-processed foods and surround us with them. They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. Remember the days when you couldn't bring food into a bookstore, and now they sell food at that bookstore? So the idea here is not to force people to have superhuman willpower, but to clean up the environment so they can function normally and not be addicted to these extremely toxic foods. The American people need help. And that's what people like RFK are trying to do. They're trying to give people the support they need in the most advantageous way possible.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. You've helped a lot of people. I give you a lot of credit. Would it be really bad if I acknowledged that occasionally, not that often, I have a quarter-pounder cheese, large fry, and a Coke? That wouldn't be good, right? Just checking.
What happened? I don't need any sweets. What do you think a Coke is, Sean? Do I need to come
Just
over there and slap you around a little bit? What are you doing? How occasionally? How occasionally are we talking?
And I like Kentucky Fried Chicken, too. I can't help it. But I don't eat it very often.
What are you doing?
It's delicious. You ever try it? Original recipe. It's the best.
No, I haven't tried it. Okay, hold on.
You've never tried it?
Second. First, Kentucky Fried Chicken? I mean, like maybe when I was 12 years old. What?
Oh man.
What are you?
I'm saying like
you're a grown man.
two or three
Kentucky
times
Fried
a year.
Chicken?
Oh boy.
You're not in college. This is not a college dorm. Absolutely not. I forbid it. I forbid it. If you want to have fried chicken, then you can have organic chicken that's flash fried, and that's it. And no, you don't get a soda. What are you doing to me tonight?
One day I'm going to get you to have a quarter-pounder with cheese with me. I'll see if I can pull that off. Jillian Michaels.
I'll make you a grass-fed cheeseburger with a beautiful bottle of wine, okay? That's what's going to happen.
Okay, I'll take the wine. Jillian Michaels, always great to have you. Thank you. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.